Hey guys, it's your boy CeeLo, not green, back yet again with another video talking about, you guessed it, Overwatch 2. Please excuse if you hear my cat munching on her food in the background, it's dinner time. So with the giant announcement yesterday about the Overwatch 2 release details, like a battle pass system being added, a huge number of new skins, and so much more, I had a few little mini details slip through the cracks, so I wanted to make a follow-up video covering some of the smaller stuff, as well as take a look at what the next game mode could end up being. Let's get into it. So let's get the appetizers out of the way first, so we can get into the juicy entree that is the new mode. Let's start off with a super quick one. One small detail that literally was in the fine print of some pages talking about Overwatch was a piece of info that will make some of the people worried about free-to-play calm down just a little bit. It says that you will be required to link a phone number to your Battle.net account in order to play Overwatch 2. Finally, phone verification for the game. This has been a long time coming, especially with how bad smurfing has gotten in Overwatch 1. I know adding a phone number won't do too much since half the time the top 10 in ranked are one guy with like 5 accounts, and you need to verify a phone number to get into top 500, but for the average Joe who just smurfs all the time with new accounts, hopefully adding a phone number verification cuts down on a large majority of the smurfs in the game, especially when the game is going free to play in only 3 months. Moving on, with the Kanezaka Fox hero all but confirmed to be the next support coming out with the launch of Overwatch 2, we gotta look at some hints of what she could be like. To find out, we can take a look at this image of some of the gun charms that are coming into the game when it launches later this year. So here we can clearly see some nice charms with an origami crane, as well as the Cyber Demon Genji mythic skin mask, a bead charm that spells out Toki, which means bunny in Korean, a microphone, and then a cute little fox. So let's single out the fox charm. Obviously adorable. Oh, I just want to pinch his little cheeks. One thing to note about his design is how close he looks to some of the foxes guarding the temple on the Kanezaka map. Both this charm and the foxes have this scroll, I guess, in their mouth. I'm sure there's some reason for them to have it in there, but regardless, it's there. As well, our little fox friend has a little necklace and a scarf looking thing around his neck, as well as a bunch of little patterns on his head and around his body. The reason I bring all of this up is because when we go back and look at the fox spirit in the trailer from this weekend, we can clearly see that this fox spirit has that scroll in his mouth, has that necklace and little scarf around his neck, and the markings on his legs look very similar to the ones the charm has as well. I think this charm is absolutely a representation of the fox hero's fox spirit. I'm not going to pretend to say that I know if she will have a literal fox companion with her at all times, or the fox is only in spirit form like Hanzo and Genji's dragons, but I think it's pretty clear that these two friends are definitely the same animal. Maybe the charm is just a physical representation of what the fox spirit looks like when people draw him or represent him in real life. I guess we'll have to wait and see. One other thing I wanted to point out real fast is that when we go back and look at that original Kanezaka graffiti we looked at almost 2 years ago at this point, one thing I noticed was a theme of arrows was very prevalent in it. I'm not sure if this is just the design, but the fact that the fox spirit sends out a bluish pathway for the team to walk on and it gives them a speed boost, and the arrow on the far right is blue and arrows usually represent movement or speed, maybe there's some more hidden info inside this graffiti than we thought. I see some flames, and the eye, and the giant foot obviously. Maybe the foot is a representation of the speed boost the arrow is giving, you know, when you walk on it, especially since the arrow kind of originates from the fox on the left side of the art. Maybe with the eye, the fox hero can grant vision like Hanzo or Widow, or maybe in some other way. Maybe the fire is like Will-O-Wisps that she uses as a healing method or damage. I'm literally grasping at straws here, but I'm definitely going to look back at this image again when the fox hero is revealed in full to see if her kit was staring at us the whole time. Literally. Okay, let's get into the juice. So, remember when I foolishly said this yesterday in my video? Is control being removed? With Nepal changing and seemingly Busan as well, is control being phased out in favor of push or whatever that new game mode is? Well, I was dead wrong. After going back and actually thinking about it and rewatching the presentation, it's super clear that control maps aren't going anywhere. Ilios, Oasis, and Lijiang were everywhere in the last beta, and they put a ton of time into reworking the lighting for those maps too. There's no reason to just scrap the game mode after working on so many of the maps. It was confirmed that Hanamura is not coming back as an escort map as well, and Busan isn't a hybrid map either. The devs confirmed that this image was just a concept art. That would have been a major defat for the Overwatch fanbase if control was gone. However, I did also make mention of Nepal getting totally reworked into either a hybrid or escort map. I need to walk that statement back 100% because we have some breaking news as well as me having an eagle eye. Speaking of eagle, why did the Eagles do this? Who allowed this? Okay, football aside, after going back and rewatching some of the footage from yesterday's event, I noticed this little model for a building they kept showing in the trailer for a map that looked very similar to Nepal. Omnic monk statues, similar looking buildings to village in Nepal now, so I just assumed that Nepal was getting a complete rework. However, when I took a closer look at when they were actually adjusting the model in the map editor, I noticed a little detail that I would have never noticed at first. I looked at the files that they were editing in this engine, and sure enough, I saw it. Sham Village Building. As soon as I saw that, I knew this was a whole new map. You may be asking, how did you get to that conclusion? Well, let's break it down. So, we can see, yes, this is a village building, but Sham, what is that? I thought about it for a second and then it hit me. Zenyatta is a part of the Shambali monks. Shambali? Sham? It's so obvious. After that, I thought, well, the map just can't be called Shambali, so let's see. There's a temple at the end of the map, so it's probably just called Shambali Temple. Done. Easy. Once again, Detective CeeLo cracks another case. Little did I expect when I went on Reddit later that night, I saw some info that made me feel like a genius. A French content creator named Kanezaka did an interview with some of the game devs yesterday after the announcement event was uploaded. In it, he asked about the Nepal looking map, and guess what the devs said? Yep, I was right. I was 100% right. God, maybe I should just change my career path to be like a PI or something, eh? So this is the big stuff right here. The Mega Juice. Call me the Kool-Aid Man, baby. Oh yeah. I'm so sorry. So it looks like Shambali Temple will be on the other side of the Nepal mountain where a whole other Omnic monk temple sits. It has its own village as we can see, and it looks absolutely massive. Just based on the other screenshot we saw from the earlier trailer, the temple looks like it goes all the way inside, so there could be even more map inside that area. It also could be a spawn point, but who knows just yet. The devs go on to say that this Shambali Temple map will be one of the new maps for an upcoming core game mode that will release later into next year, so unfortunately it sounds like we won't see this map anytime soon. I wanted to go back and really look at this map and try to figure out what this new game mode even is. This image here I think is the best way to see what we're dealing with. So we can see a big old village with a huge street in the middle going through it. On the right side we can see a point spot as well as a lane from the top, as well as a lane on the right. It looks like there's more map in the mountain along those pathways. It could be an exit from one of the temples. We can also see at the center of these 4 statues is an obvious point, so that's one other possible end of the map. This shot with Zenyatta is tough to place since the monk statues aren't there, and that statue on the top of the doorway isn't present in the 4 monk statues, so these are 2 different locations. This image also shows a street view of one of the buildings, but I can't seem to place exactly where it is within this village. Either way, the pathway is incredibly long and it looks like it snakes all over the place. As the devs say, this map is huge and looks pretty complicated. Look at all the flank routes all over the place. I remember the devs saying that the other India map was also a huge one, but that was more in the context of PvE missions. I believe they said that the India map was coming to PvP, so if it is, I can imagine it being a map for this game mode. I honestly wonder what it could even be. My first thoughts are that it could be something like 5CP in TF2. Now, I had to ask a TF2 expert on this because I barely have played the game, but I've heard the idea of a 5CP like map being thrown around as a possible good mode for Overwatch 2. So if I understand correctly, in 5CP, you have 2 points captured at the start, and then the objective is to capture the middle neutral point and then try to push your team further into enemy territory, and if you capture all the enemy's points, you win. So with a long pathway, it could make sense that it just leads to all of these point objectives we can see on the map. I think this could be a good possibility. Let me know if you think something like 5CP would be a good fit in Overwatch. I'm not sure if this mode is complex enough like the devs said it is, but either way, let me know what you think this map in game mode could be. Okay, that's it for me. Lots of little speculations here in the Overwatch community right now. We're all scrambling like rats trying to collect some new crumb of info to see if we can get any more light shed on the game we've been waiting so long for. I can't wait for the beta to start in only 11 days. You already know I bought that $40 pack. I see early access for Overwatch, I buy. I haven't spent money on the game in so long anyway. I think it's well past due I throw a shekel or 2 at Blizzard. Okay, that's it from me. Please like the video if you enjoyed or learned something new. Please subscribe and ring the bell icon to see more from me and to get notified when I upload next. And comment below what you think this new game mode will be. If you think the Kanezaka fox graffiti has anything to do with her abilities, just let me know your thoughts on this video in general. Okay, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.